Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Time for another trip down the old forest. But God, there is so much to talk about. First and foremost, let's get the most important news out of the way first. Who said Maggie's pregnant? Shut up, you. I'm not that big. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. What is it with you people? Anyway, I want to talk. Fuck's sake, look what you've gone and done. I want to talk about something that I've mentioned in the past, but it will correlate with a news story. Does anybody recall the... I'm not going to be able to concentrate now, for fuck's sake. The post from Active Patriot. You know, the one that mentioned imminent tea attacks on schools. Well, Tommy Robinson has retweeted a letter that a concerned parent has about their child going to a school. And the context behind it is, of course, the procedures of a lockdown at school, i.e. what happens if there is an actual tea attack or someone with a GUN, or even a knife. It doesn't have to be a GUN. There are people out there that will end the lives of children, as we all know. I mean, Axel Radaku Banana needs no introduction, and he didn't even go after people at a school. He went after a dance class. Now, understandably, when this woman had this letter that described the process of lockdown, which I have no problem with the lockdown itself, because obviously a school's got to look after itself. But obviously when there's an imminent attack and children are in danger, parents are going to be very fucking concerned for their kids' safety. Perhaps for all I know, this woman has found Active Patriot's tweet and is concerned. I mean, can you blame her in the shithole that we live in right now? The fact that England is suffering substantially from a massive invasion of invaders, mainly from the Middle East, who have time and time again proven that they're here to take advantage of our soft-touch society and, of course, our women and children. I mean, if Epping is any example right now, well, can you see why people are angry? And on top of all that, combine that with the fact that these vigilante groups are now out in force because the people don't trust the police. And to be honest, I can't really blame them, quite frankly, because the police have always been on the side of the touchy-feely types. I think you know which ones I mean. They've always been on the side of the illegals, the invaders, for fear of a 6-letter word. And I'll give you a clue. It ends in "ist." Well, fuck me, I can't even stand on the hill now. There's kids sitting on there. I don't want to crush them. Anyway, back to what I was trying to say. People don't trust the police because they have shown what side they're on. They're not on the side of the women and children indigenous to this population. Hell, we've seen cases where victims of these R squads have been arrested for prostitution, selling themselves basically, when they were told to do their job and take out the trash from these hotels and place them in the dumpster, sorry, can't even get the words out, dustbin of history, although dumpster is actually right as well. But when we asked them to do that, the police would rather arrest patriots and concerned citizens who, quite rightly, are very fucking concerned for the safety of this country. So yeah, you'll forgive some of us people, or as they love to call us, the far right, if we don't exactly have a good relationship or trust in the two-tier policing society. Especially when you bear in mind that Ricky Cutthroats Jones was recently let off from saying that intentional statement. He didn't not mean it. He said it with full intention. Don't give me any bullshit about, oh, he had to do PE in his underwear. So did I at one point. I think a lot of people did. Though obviously you have an advantage if you're attractive. Anyway, the fact is, there are so many people who've had to do PE in their underwear. Just for context, please don't be under 18 when you're doing that shit. Let me be clear on that. But you get what I mean. The point is, Ricky Jones got away with inciting murder against the opposite people. Basically people who aren't aligned to his politics. While there were people around him celebrating and cheering, condoning this. And as I've said before, if this was the other way round and we called it for the leftists, we would all be rotting in cells. Just like that. So yet again, forgive us if we're not trusting of you, two-tier policing society. But as I said, I don't blame this woman for pulling her child out of school, for wanting to protect her child. The sad truth is, I suspect she might end up getting a call from the police because her child's playing truant. But what it really comes down to is maybe this parent is clued in on what the fuck is going on this godforsaken land, and maybe doesn't want their kid getting butchered like Alice De Silva Aguilar, Bebe Keane and Elsie Dot. God rest all their souls. Now, I by no means advocate for people to break the law. Far from it. But what you have to understand is that the reason these vigilante groups are out there, the reason these parents are now starting to pull their kids from these schools, is a very, very simple one. Lack of trust. It all comes down to the fact that our police are serving the criminals rather than the citizens. The police have lost all respect in the British/English public. They have lost all credibility within their eyes for the simple fact that they have chosen not to do their job, their oath to the crown, although frankly, King Charles is as much use as a chocolate ashtray on a fucking motorbike. In the end, what it comes down to is Keir the traitor Starmer has put the people who are invading this country before his own citizens, the ones he should be serving. The whole point of him being elected into power. He's more interested in serving Islam and the invaders than he is protecting our country from T's, R's and M's. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. And it makes me laugh to think that this traitorous sectarian bastard that is Keir the traitor Starmer honestly thinks he's going to get 10 years in power. He'll be lucky if he has 10 months, quite frankly. The only people who voted in this traitorous Prime Minister are the people who had the mental capacity of a lobotomized squirrel. And they're frankly all nuts, every single one of them. To top this all off, we also have some stories of apparently some of these invaders starting to attack some women and children as well. There are even children getting arrested. We have people that are victims of assault, young children who, I believe you're not allowed to handcuff anyone who is, I believe it's either below the age of 13 or below the age of 10. But the police are more interested in arresting children than arresting criminals who are getting attacked with fucking bricks. Really begs the question, doesn't it? Who the fuck is this Prime Minister? Who does he think he is? I can't even get the words out. I'm just really fucked off right now. Who the fuck does he think he is, betraying the people and serving Islam? Who the hell does he think he is, taking away homes from veterans who deserve it far more than the invaders who are coming over our shores? And there are charities like the British Red Cross who are actively helping these invaders, who are actively assisting those from other war-torn countries and what have you, who, quite frankly, we can't even stand on our own 2 feet. So why the hell are we giving money over to foreign countries when we could be helping ourselves get back on our own 2 feet? Begs the question, doesn't it? I mean, who does this traitor think he is? This self-deprecating wanker who shows no respect for his own country. Who is he? I'll tell you what, if this guy, if he remotely existed in the 18th or 19th century, the people would have taken out the trash in an instant. They would have removed the trash from this country almost immediately. I mean, he sure as shit wouldn't be getting a full year in term. He'd be lucky if he got 6 months. Keir the traitor Starmer has no place in the houses of treachery, I mean Parliament, or maybe I was right first time, and he has no right to 10 Downing Street. Oh, let's not worry about the people that are invading our country. Let's not worry about the T's, R's and M's who are destroying this country. No, let's lock up patriots for having a different opinion. Let's worry about the human rights of the invaders rather than those who are being invaded. Because here's a story that will make your piss boil. There was a blind woman who ended up having one of these invaders invade her home. Literally. Last time I checked, I think it's called trespassing. And what did our 2-tier policing society do? They initially decided, oh, we're not going to arrest him. They decided that what he did was not a crime. It was only because of massive public outrage, these treacherous police officers had to double back on their decision and actually remove the maggot from the streets who invaded this woman's home and terrorized her. They should have done that the moment they found out that he had trespassed into her home. And now I'm going to get arrested for misgendering her. Anyway, he should have been arrested on the spot, instantly. Instead, our two-tier police have got their heads so far up their own arses, I'm surprised their whole face hasn't turned brown. And not because of the colour of their skin, but because of how much shit is up there. You can't honestly expect the people to sit here and take this. You can't honestly expect the people to be perfectly happy with their counties and their towns being turned into third world shitholes by invaders who have no respect for our cultures and our beliefs. Meanwhile, we've got a two-tier policing society more interested in arresting the innocent rather than the guilty. And I know I've made this point before, but when I mention civil blank, it usually doesn't mean much because I'm not really a big content creator, although I am getting bigger. Yes, I know my waste as well, shut up. Anyway, I know I'm not that big. When Richard Inman says it has some more influence, but it's not exactly, oh my god, it's galvanizing the nation. When you have senior officers and police commissioners coming out and saying that we are on the brink of a civil blank, surely people have to start taking notice. And this situation is only going to get worse, not better. We are heading towards civil blank, and there's nothing we can do about it. Ironically, a little bit of apathy there, but it's more in the terms of we're heading there because I know realistically, Keir the traitor Starmer's going to keep pushing. He's going to keep playing with fire until the powder keg finally explodes and it takes him out, metaphorically speaking, in the blast. Because I've said it before and I'll say it here again, as soon as the civil blank starts, Keir the traitor Starmer will have to resign. There is no way that he will be able to hold that position. No amount of backpedaling and U-turning and doing more roundabouts than a bloody Tesco's car park, no amount of that is ever going to save his arse or his career, quite frankly. He will be the only Prime Minister who will have started a civil blank with his own people. He will be the only person who has been known to stoke the riots that have taken place in places like Southend, in Southport, in Liverpool, in Manchester, in Norwich, everywhere. Okay, maybe Norwich is an exaggeration because we were just protesting outside the hotels. But it doesn't change the fact that more and more people are marching against Keir the traitor Starmer because of all of his deceit and his treachery. I'm glad I was able to get my own damn speech in there because it needs to be said. If you don't respect our stroke number one, if you don't respect our cultures or society, then you have to go. If you're here and you're trying to subjugate or conquer rather than integrate, we don't want you. But it is sickening to think that our treacherous Prime Minister, rather than actually address the issues, he would rather double down on everything he's done. The police, rather than accept responsibility for their failings and actually start doing their job, they're going after the vigilante groups that are going to do the jobs for them because of their incompetence at being able to deal with invaders and criminals. There will come a time where eventually the people decide they've had enough and the police won't be able to stop us. If they think for 1 second they'll be able to stop us, my God, they've got a rude awakening coming for them, let me tell you. In less than a month's time, we're probably going to see at least 500,000 patriots in the middle of London. The biggest gathering of British, Scottish, Welsh, English people we have ever seen in our history. This protest is going to be extraordinary. Thank you. Stroke number two, it will be extraordinary. God almighty. And I would recommend everyone come on the 13th of September because it is really going to shake the establishment to its very core. Now, I don't know how many people are coming from Norwich, but what I do know is that if you asked me 3 or 4 years ago, stand up on stage and speak up in front of a few 100,000 people, I'd fucking shit myself, quite frankly. But you know what? Now I think of it more and more, I think I'd like to say I've got the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to actually stand up on that stage and give a speech to 500,000 people. I know what it's like to be absolutely terrified. I know what it's like to have to live in fear. I know what it's like to be worried that people aren't going to have your back. Believe you me, I do. And Tommy Robinson has definitely helped me in that regard back in 2019 when I stood up on the stage in Salford. I'm surprised the council didn't bill me for the crater I caused. Anyway, I am more than willing to get up on that stage if necessary, speak for Norwich, because we need more people who are willing to speak out, who have got the brass balls, up here or down there, to actually showcase that we, the British people, the English people, the Welsh people, the Scottish people, that we are not afraid of this traitorous establishment, and we will get our country back, one way or another. The way I look at it, this protest is our last chance at a peaceful resolution. And let me be clear, I would never advocate for a violent revolution or a civil blank. But the way I see it, I can't see it going any other way if this protest fails. And let me be clear, the oligarchy will do everything in their stroke number 3, everything in their power to stop this protest from being a success. Is that 3 strokes in like 3 minutes? Christ almighty. Oh, actually, no, it's 2 strokes in 3 minutes. At this rate, I'm going to need to add another 30 seconds to my time just on the number of strokes I'll be having. But we need more people. We don't need big speakers up there. I don't want to see a shitload of people who are the usual suspects, shall we say. I don't want it to just be Richard Inman, Paul Thorpe, Martuzzi, Carl Benjamin, etc., etc. I want to see loads of smaller people up on that stage spilling their heart out for the public. Because if you keep seeing the same people, how do we not know? How do they not know, rather, that the public is there? We need content creators and members of the public, big or small, to put their hearts out there. And I'll be sitting over you going, Kalima. Anyway, we need more people up on that stage, pure and simple. Camera has to be moved slightly because I've got a fuck off great big roll here. Anyway, we need more people, big and small, up on that stage. We need to see a variety of people from a variety of different places. And I'll be devil's advocate to this, and I will say I can understand why people like, I don't know, Geert Wilders, or some, I think there was like it was either a Danish or a Polish woman or something that's going to end up coming up on stage because of her powerful speeches. Yes, forgive me, I'm out of breath. That's what going up the stairs and nearly causing an earthquake does to you. But that aside, the point I'm trying to make is you don't just have all the big people up there putting out their speeches, putting out their heartfelt feelings. You need smaller people to do it too. I'm not just including myself. There are probably loads of other smaller content creators that I could recommend, like Gobs that Talks About Things, Anglo-Saxon Bloke, Guardian Mose, just to name 3. There are people out there who have clearly got the passion and the heart for this, and there are some that even swear like a sailor just like me. So I'm not fucking alone on that much. But the point is, I think more people, big and small, would be beneficial for this movement. We need to show them it's not just the usual famous people like Carl Benjamin or Paul Thorpe or Richard Inman or Tommy Robinson. I accept Tommy Robinson's the one organising this, and he's always going to be up there by nature because obviously he's probably the biggest symbol of the movement. But that is not me doing this to detract from any of them. It's me doing this because I think the movement will be more of a success if we show more of the public, if we show more of the Indigenous people who are not higher up or well known. People who can make a name for themselves. Not just myself, as I said, but some of the people that I've mentioned. Some of the people that I actually watch. I'm surprised Reverend Simon Sideways has not actually had a chance to speak. Or maybe he doesn't turn up. I don't know. But there needs to be more people out there who can actually give it as good as they can. We need more people who have got the voice, who have got the stones to deliver a message that will turn Keir the traitor Starmer's trousers brown. And I think we'd all pay to see that spectacle, quite frankly. But the bottom line in all this, to round this off, is that the reason the police are not trusted is a very simple one. Without splashing myself. God, I really don't know my own strength at times. Anyway, the bottom line is this. The police wonder why they're not trusted. Their actions speak volumes. They can say whatever the bloody hell they want on mainstream media, but it has as much substance as an empty glass. It has no meaning until you actually fill the glass up and show us what's inside. You need to start doing your job as your oath dictates. You need to be protecting the realm. You need to be protecting the people and restoring peace as quickly as possible. Now, whether it's some hooligan riots, whether it's a criminal breaks into a shop and takes a load of shit, your job, British police, English police, Gestapo, stormtroopers, whatever you want to fucking call these gits, your job is to simply keep the peace, protect the realm, and if peace is broken, restore it as quickly as possible. What's so hard about that? That means you actually do your job. That means you actually go out of your way to arrest the criminals, the invaders, the trash that inhabits the streets. Not concerned parents, not concerned citizens, and not patriots who love their country. Likewise, if you're going to go out of your way to protect the R's, the T's, and the M's, you can't be surprised if the people then decide, well, if the police aren't going to do their job, we're going to have to do it for them. Let's form groups and get on the streets. That's why they're doing this. They don't trust you. They don't trust you to do your fucking job. That's what it boils down to. A breakdown of trust is the worst thing you can have, as it means that people are going to go off their own back, rather than what they should do is hope that you, as the police, as the, if you will, the security of the country, is going to do their job. And if you're not going to do your job, look at the vigilante groups. Need I say more? This is not something we've done out of malice. This is not something we've done out of spite. This is something we've done out of concern for our safety. Because most of us feel we cannot, in good faith, trust you, the two-tier policing society, to do your job and protect us. And there have been many, many times where we've had TV license goons who go out of their way to harass us, and then instead of actually just standing back and keeping the peace, you're helping the TV license goons terrorize the vulnerable. You wonder why we don't trust you? Just have a look at those examples. And maybe then it'll come to you. Just like that. Maybe that's why we don't trust you. Likewise, it's why we don't trust Keir the traitor Starmer, or the Nonce Party, Labour Party. Or again, maybe I was right first time, to actually do their job. Keir the traitor Starmer's already picked his side. He sided against the people. He is trying to start a civil blank. And as I've said before, if a civil blank does start out, he won't be able to blame concerned parents, concerned patriots, or concerned citizens. The only person he'll have to blame is himself. The oligarchy will only have themselves to blame. The 13th of September is your last chance, oligarchy, to surrender to the people, because you are meant to serve your people. People should not fear their governments. Governments should fear their people. Because at the end of the day, we choose who runs this fucking country. And if you choose to not do your job and run the country as we ask, like Ronald Reagan said, we are the driver and you are the car. And we decide where we want to go, along what route and how fast. And if you are not willing to do that, we'll trash this one and we'll find ourselves a new car.